Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So finally back, got the car back, and we're ready to get back in full swing for the race season. So I got a bunch of upgrades sitting on the car behind me that we're going to do today. Bring you guys through that process. So I'll go ahead and show you what we got going on and what the plans are. I've got some shock travel sensors from Low Dollar Motorsports. I got one for the front, one for the rear. So it's really nice. And then a couple little accessories to add those to the car. G-meter, got this nice little billet Rife G-meter from Motion Raceworks with the nice IP67 M8 sealed cable. And then I've got this connector from Mad Racing, I think is the name. Yep, Mad Racing. And so this is cool because it plugs into the Holley Dominator and you're able to just pin all of your sensors into it, which is really nice. Makes a nice clean install. So that's the plan for that. And then I also have some 16100 springs from Racecraft. So those have got to go on now that we're doing back of the track racing pretty much exclusively. I need some lighter front springs. And then I also got a new alternator. As you guys know, I have the 14 volt excess power battery, and I needed a way to charge it because that battery has to charge at like 16 to 16.5 volts. So got this nice alternator from Brand X. Check them out. Good quality service, and built me exactly what I needed. I've got an adjustable knob that'll turn the voltage up on this thing. So even without the knob on it, it's charging at about 15 volts. And then with the knob, we'll be able to kick it up to like 16 or 16.5 volts, which would be perfect. Everything will run better. Fuel pump will flow more fuel, everything. I'm gonna go ahead and first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and get this front end jacked up, get the springs put on, and get this front shock travel sensor installed, and then we'll move on to the back. And then we get to do my favorite part, not really, pull the dash out and run all the wires, get all the wiring plugged in, and then actually, I completely forgot too that we have, I didn't show it over there, but I'm actually swapping over to boost control through the Holley as well as bump through the Holley. So I have the NOS solid state relay and also have boost solenoids. So the boost leash is going to be coming out. That'll be for sale. So get the front end jacked up and we're going to get started on this. All right, so I got one side done, and I'm only gonna run one shock sensor on the front left. Don't really have the cash for two right now, but everything's in here. These Racecraft 16 by 100 springs, and the nice thing about these is they're conical. That means that they get wider through the middle and then taper back down to 2.5 at the top and the bottom. And so, you know, these things are compressed a lot, as you guys saw in the time lapse, like a whole lot to help with the stored energy. And that kind of keeps this spring from rubbing against the adjustment threads here on the strut. So this is the 8-inch front shock travel sensor, and obviously it has way more adjustment than I need. But I got this clamp collar right here. Just clamped it to the A-arm. This end of the sensor right there bolts to it, and then I made a little bracket up here out of aluminum and bolted it to kind of like get a little play in these heim joints at the top and the bottom, and try to get that sensor as straight as I could in line with the shock. And it's not perfect, but it's gonna give me the data that I need. So that side's done. I got to do the same to the other side, and then move to the back and get it mounted. All right, so we're on to putting this back shock sensor on. This is one of the 6-inch stroke shock sensors, and I got nuts from Low Dollar Motorsports, and basically this thing will bolt onto here, or however I want to do it. Then go up into there. The problem is I have these stock location coilovers, so what I think I'm gonna do is I'm thinking I'm gonna remove this top shock mount right here, and I'm gonna drill a hole through the strut tower right there. Or not the strut tower, but the frame portion back here, so that nut can go on the back side of here, and then drill a hole through the bottom, and that'll put me kind of right where I need to be for where it needs to be. I'm not sure yet. I may be able to just get away with putting the shock sensor right here, which I may actually just do that because it'll be really, really close if I put it right there. I don't know though. I'm gonna fool around with it and see what makes the most sense. All right, so I got the shock off, and I think I figured out what I'm gonna do. So I've got these riv nuts, and I've got some M5 riv nuts, and that M5 bolt right here fits perfectly through the eyelet over there. So what I'm gonna do is drill this open big enough and put this riv nut in there, and then we'll be able to bolt the end of that up. I'll probably have to put a small little spacer on here, which I'll figure that out. So I'm gonna get that drilled out and get this thing put in. Hopefully, I think it's gonna be a little tight to get the riv nut in right there, but I think we can get it. Got the riv nut in there. It's not fully seated yet. I just kind of got it hanging there, just checking. But if you don't have one of these things are pretty awesome. You can basically put your nut anywhere that you need to if you can't see the back side of it. So definitely worth the buy. It was a little tight to get it in there, so it's kind of a little off, but I mean it's gonna do the job just fine for what it needs to. So we'll finish getting this bolted up, and then I think we'll be good on the shock sensors. All right, the coilover's back in here, and I got the shock sensor mounted up. It's got a nice bit of clearance everywhere, and turned out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see right here. I'll run this under here and up to the front, but turned out pretty nice. So both the shock sensors are on. Now I just got to get to some wiring inside the car. That's probably take the most time. Ash is out, and I've already ripped my boost leash, pulse leash deal out. My wiring's a little bit of a mess right now, but that's out, so I can start the wiring process. And I've got some other things I still got to add. So I got this boost control set up from Motion Raceworks. Just got some simple Mac valves on it. I've already wired up everything to make it plug and play, and then I got a 0 to 100 psi pressure transducer from Low Dollar Motorsports. This is like the this is the liquid filled one, so it's a little more robust, and I plan to remote mount this thing, so should work out pretty well and shouldn't have any problems out of it, hopefully. So I think what I'm gonna do is get over here and get this push control mounted in the fender well. Whole lot more hours of work, and I didn't pull the camera out because the wiring's kind of boring to film, but I got all the wiring done. You guys don't judge me too much. It's not the most perfect, cleanest wiring job in the world, but it gets the job done. I was able to actually delete a bunch of wires that were back here. It looked way worse before, but I got that solid state relay for the bump. I've got this little adjuster wired in for my voltage on the alternator. It's just way cleaner over here. The Mad Racing Products expansion right here was nice. I've got basically filled up all those inputs with front and rear shock travel, coolant pressure, dome pressure, drive shaft speed, and front wheel speed. So everything's wired up. It seems to be working pretty good. So just gonna get the dash tossed back in here. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, and we got to be at Crossville at 1 o'clock tomorrow for the Blacktop Bounty. So still got a lot of work to do. Got to change the tires out, put my fresh slicks on there, and get all this new stuff figured out, make sure it's working right. So still got a lot of work to do. See, it's all still up on the jack stands, but it is all wired up. So I had to run and get my new slicks put on. Big shout out to Cliff for getting these put on in short notice. Now I just got to put my rim screws in. I don't have bead locks, and I run tight tubes, so I have to screw the tire to the rim. So I'll do that real quick. Saturday morning. The car is ready to rock. You can see right here we got it. Everything's good to go on it. Shock travel sensors are working. It's a lot cleaner on the inside without the boost leash and all the craziness going on. I like the way it turned out. Got the front end adjusted with these 16-100 springs up here. You see them sitting in there. And it's ready to go. Pretty tired, feeling a little rough right now because I did all this stuff last minute just because I didn't have any time with work and whatnot. But we're ready to race, ready to get out here to Crossville, Blacktop Bounty Series, first race of the year. Hopefully everything goes pretty well. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Stay tuned. This will be the end of this video, and then we're gonna get into some racing in the next one. So see you guys later.